Okay, now that we've talked about how we structure data, categorical, quantitative, talking about cases and studies and all, we're going to actually look at sampling from a population, because really when you're doing a survey, that's what you're doing. You're sampling from a population. So here we have over 30,000 people participated in an online poll on CNN.com conducted in April 2012, asking, have you ever driven with a pet on your lap? We see that 34% of the participants answered yes and 66% answered no. So we want to identify what the sample is. Well, basically the sample is those people who responded to the survey. So the sample is the 30,000 people who participated in the poll. Now we have percentage up there for the number who answered yes, the number who answered no. So can we conclude the 34% of all drivers have driven with a pet on their lap? And actually we can't. This is a volunteer sample. Only those who felt strongly about it responded. So possibly more of those who actually did drive with a pet on their lap responded than would have normally. Volunteer samples are often biased because of that. And it's likely the people who, as I said, it's likely the people who have driven with a pet on their lap are more likely to respond to the poll. So why is it not appropriate to generalize these results to all drivers, or even to all drivers who visit CNN.com? What is the problem with this method of data collection? So, as we said before, volunteer samples are often biased, and we really don't want biased samples. And this is why it's not a good idea to use a sample like this, especially to make generalizations. Really, we can't make generalizations from volunteer samples. So how might we select a sample of people that would give us results that we can generalize to the broader population? Well, to do that, we have to use a random sample. With a random sample, we're getting a sample that is hopefully non-biased and hopefully representative of the entire population. Now, is the variable quantitative or categorical? Well, it's a yes or no answer, so it's going to be categorical. Now, if we move on, how a question is worded, not only the sample you use, but how a question is worded, can have a dramatic impact on the result. So here we have two questions. They appear to be asking the same thing. Do you think the U.S. should allow public speeches against democracy? Or do you think the U.S. should not forbid public speeches against democracy? However, 21% said the speeches should be allowed in answer to the first question, whereas almost double that, 39%, said such speeches should not be forbidden in answer to the second question. And why do you think the results were so different? Well, if we look at this, even subtle changes in wording can have a strong effect on the outcome. In this case, it's likely the people don't want to forbid something since it sounds more rigid than not allowing. So not only who you ask, how you ask is important in doing a survey, because what you say or how you ask it can be a leading question. It could lead towards a specific answer. I forgot, it has a little bit